Delta, issues, of course, also surrounding recently issues of militancy. And for quite some time now, our country, Nigeria, has had to grapple with some of these issues. Well, today we have as guest someone who can answer issues, especially in that regard. He is Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta and coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, retired Brigadier General Paul Boroh. Thanks for joining us on Politics Nationwide, General.
Thank you very much, Tokwe.
All right. Now, of course, we will be looking at the major issues. Many people would want to look at the recent call by the Niger Delta Avengers and so on. But let's begin from the Presidential Amnesty Program, which is an initiative of the Yar'Adua Jonathan administration and is one of the legacies of the previous administration inherited by this government. General Boroh, how is this program coming on?
Thank you very much. The Presidential Amnesty Program is a stabilizing program. Stabilizing in the sense that it ensures stability of the Niger Delta region, the entire Niger Delta, 9 states. So it's not just one local government or one state. It's stabilizing in the sense that it cut across Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Abia, Imo, Rivers, Bayelsa, Delta, Edo, and Ondo states. These are 9 states that are under the Presidential Amnesty Program. The program came into being due to conflict by ex-agitators, and the government thought it wise to listen to them. This was in 2009. 30,000 of them were captured, and non-violence training was given to them. It was appropriated. That's what they denounced militancy and keyed onto the federal government agreements. As of now, the 30,000 of them are still on board. The government is taking care of them in terms of stipend paying and developing their capacity educationally and skills acquisition. The program is on course. I tell you that confidently.
All right. The program is on course, but I can tell you that some news have arisen recently, especially in the early days of this administration, of some people studying abroad and who were part of this program and got stranded. What's the situation now?
We don't have any student in the amnesty program in offshore that is stranded abroad. We do not have any one student right now.
All right. Now, you talked about stability. I'd like to know, how much has this stability affected the youth of the Niger Delta region? Certainly as Special Advisor to the President, I'm sure you're in touch with the young people over there. Have you got any feedback in this regard of whether this stability is really touching their lives?
Thank you very much. There is a misconception here. The amnesty program is responsible only for the 30,000 that are captured in the program, ex-agitators. But a lot of people think the program affects all youths in Niger Delta region. No, it's not so. The 30,000 are those that are captured in the program. We have it in a database, and we have appropriation to that effect. But because I discuss issues of the entire Niger Delta, people think all youths of Niger Delta are captured in the program. That's not the point. But again, we are responsible for those affected in the conflicts, communities. We bring them on board and develop their educational capacity. That is where those who are schooling abroad and those also schooling within the country are also captured within the program, but not the entire Niger Delta youths. Or in my office, I've established a central communication system where those who are captured in the program, irrespective of where they are, whether abroad or locally, are key in, and then they lay their complaints, and their complaints are appropriately treated.
All right. Medical doctors will tell you that self-medication is not a good idea. They tell you, come and let's do some tests and find out what the issues are. The foundation of the issue, of course, we know is militancy, before we even had to talk about amnesty. Now, is the government doing anything to ensure that this is stopped? I mean, from the roots, considering the fact that in spite of the federal government's continued amnesty program, some youths of the Niger Delta of late have renewed attacks on gas pipelines and oil platforms in that area.
Yes, thank you very much. The government has done so much in the region, particularly in terms of political will. The government means well for the region. I can remember during the campaign of Mr. President, he mentioned he was going to come up with the cleaning up program, first and foremost, for the Niger Delta. And in his words, on the 2nd of June this year, there was the flag up at Ogoniland. This flag up that has to do with the cleaning of Niger Delta will start from Ogoniland and it will be continuous all the way. That is a master strategy of commitment by Mr. President. Now, when it comes to youth empowerment and development, in this year's budget, there is a 500 billion social intervention fund. These are areas that you should look into and see how they can engage in assessing the fund. We have also 750 billion agricultural fund through the Ministry of Agriculture to the Central Bank. You see, to get the best of the present day administration, you have to be educated. You have to have some level of educational capability in you. Look at the budget critically and see how you can add value to development of the country, particularly your area where you come from, through the budget. The 750 billion agricultural fund is open, but you must show commitment that you're interested in agriculture, and then the government will support you. This is one area that we're lacking. The agricultural sector, needs to be developed by individuals, but the government has set aside 750 billion that is accessible, so we should develop that interest in agriculture. We should think less of oil and look at how agric can add value to the development of the entire country, particularly Niger Delta, where I'm talking about now.
All right, you talked about thinking less of oil, but here's the challenge that I mentioned. The renewed attacks on gas pipelines and oil platforms, which of course does not help the country. Neither does it even help the Niger Delta. But have you, as special assistants, been able to fathom the real course of this renewed offensive in the Niger Delta?
Thank you very much. This new offensive that has to do with vandalizing pipes and oil pipes and gas line is not encouraged in any way. When I tried to make some moves, I was made to understand that it's mainly due to lack of jobs creation. And the government is frowns at it, but committed to ensuring jobs are created. There is a body set aside and established by this government for job creation. People, like I said, they have to develop the capacity to go online to understand where the government is going and where they're going concerning job creation. Various jobs are created based on connection into the internet. It's not just available on the streets, but you must have that knowledge to know how to connect to it, and then you will get it right. The ex-agitators that are captured in the amnesty program dissociate themselves from this pipeline vandalism, and the amnesty office also have dissociated itself from the pipeline vandalism. It is an act that is detrimental to development and economic sabotage. It's an area that should be discouraged. Whenever persons have grievances, it should not be vented on pipelines, but the individuals or groups or institutions that they have issues with, not the pipelines, because the pipelines affect the environment, affect persons who also are engaged in routine activities within the environment, and particularly the economy of the country. We all need this economy badly in order to forge ahead in life. So it is discouraged. What should be encouraged is ensure that your issues are handled legally or administratively so that you can make a difference and are not venting on pipes.
All right, now, in talking about issues and moving forward, government recently withdrew the troops from the communities in the Niger Delta. It came as a pleasant surprise to many people, especially when it was perceived that the armed forces were battle ready to crack down the militants. Can you tell us what informed this gesture?
Yes, thank you very much. The government felt, as a military background person, the government felt our presence in the Niger Delta through presence of military will resolve this conflict, and that's why they deployed troops there. I also immediately moved in to the general area where it was happening, to that's in Baramatu Kingdom. And when I got there, the military though were there, but on deterrence to carry out current and search operations, and they were able to recover some items of War Department property in this place. But my presence there doused tension because the community members felt the military was there to black them out of the world and stuff. No, the military was there as deterrence to ensuring War Department property were recovered, which they did. But importantly, there was a swift move of withdrawal in order to allow for renewed routines and in order to allow for peace building and peace effort through negotiations and mediation.
All right, well,
which has to do with dialogue, and it's ongoing now.
All right, but in spite of this gesture, it does seem that the militants have continued their assault on the nation's economy through bombing of oil and gas facilities. Would you say the withdrawal of troops has achieved the desired objectives in this regard?
Yes, please. The withdrawal of troops actually created room for peace building, dialogue, which is ongoing, and there is a win-win situation to this effect. That's why you experience some calmness now.
One of the challenges is always talking with the right people. Special advisor, can you tell us and tell Nigerians, is the dialogue being done with the right people to ensure, a permanent solution and we move forward for the country?
Yes, thank you very much. The right people may not be easy to get, but at least the government have structures in place through governments all the way to the local government and the wards. And then in the Delta State, particularly where it was happening the most, the state took it upon itself to establish an advocacy committee to look into these issues of pipeline vandalism. So the government is key into this committee in order to resolve this conflict we're talking about.
Now, looking forward, some young people, especially in the Niger Delta, will probably need to have a good understanding of the effects of this pipeline vandalism and blowing up of pipelines. As a father you are, and of course a leader in the Niger Delta, despite the fact that you are a political office holder, what would you say to young people, young Niger Deltans, about the importance of building not just the Niger Delta but Nigeria?
Yes, thank you very much. That something that has to do with developing the capacity and transforming the minds of of young persons. I thought about it and went to the grassroots. I've been to Cross River. I've been across the Niger Delta states to the creeks, to meeting with young persons and educating them on the need to be more creative rather than venting anger on pipelines and related acts that are detrimental to the environment as well as the economy of the country. And then during this my engagement with them, the bottom line that was revealed is that they are not they need jobs, job creation, and that is where the government has come up with issues and the programs that has to do with engagement of youths in terms of job creation.
These programs, when will they kick off?
It has already kicked off. It's all embedded in the budget, but the budget is not a mathematical thing; it's a progressive thing. It's starting. If you look around generally, as some construction works going on, it's also part of the budget. The budget has started being implemented, so people should be patient to allow for the government to start its pragmatic engagement of the budget. It's ongoing.
All right. Now, let's, Special Advisor General Boroh, let's look at this issue of traditional rulers, the cooperation of the traditional rulers. Some well-meaning Nigerians have thought about it. What's your assessment of the cooperation of traditional rulers in the peace efforts in the Niger Delta?
Yeah, thank you. I remember about second week of February, I met with some traditional rulers in Niger Delta, as well as some stakeholders. For these traditional institutions, they have also keyed into the federal government policies ensuring stability in the region. They are very serious about this. The South-South monarchs will be meeting in a week's time in Uyo to discuss issues of Niger Delta. This is a very encouraging move by the traditional rulers. I think on their own part, they are trying their best, but they need to do more.
When you say they need to do more, as someone who is at the heart of the issues, what do they need to do?
Yeah, what they need to do more is to be more engaged, to come together as a group and be more engaged in ensuring resolution of conflicts and disputes within their domain.
They say you can force a horse to the stream, but you can't force it to drink water. With your talks with these traditional rulers, do you see any commitment towards doing this more?
Yes, they've written to my office asking to be together so that they can meet with the stakeholders, elders within the communities and discuss issues concerning the Niger Delta region.
All right. Now, the ordinary man on the streets will come into this view also, I believe, because the whole of the Niger Delta is being seen. Most people say it's like a place where the oil is coming from, and some developments should be done. I'm sure it will be good news to know that things are moving in the right direction. But is government considering an extension of the amnesty program, especially to the new generation of militants just rising now?
Yes, thank you. About extension of the program, the government is not considering that. What the government is looking at is how to create jobs for the upcoming youths. Sometime last weekend, I was in Uyo to meet with some ex-agitators and armed groups that are willing to disarm. And I went with the gentleman who is having the bill for ALSCON in order to create more jobs for the youth, and they were happy about it because as far as they're concerned, they want to be employed. They want to be engaged so that their strength can be effectively utilized as young men. So I think it's job creation that is the issue and not arms carrying and moving from creeks to creeks. The youths want to be engaged in terms of job creation.
All right. Well, this engagement will surely be important. General Paul Boroh, now let's look at the whole of Nigeria. Certainly we have a part to play. Brothers in the Niger Delta are brothers, and the north, the west, the east, everywhere we need to be together as one. Now, from your point of view, what do we need to do to reduce agitations generally, not just in the Niger Delta?
I will still repeat that to reduce agitation generally in our country, we have to look inwards to achieving job creation. It is more so because most of the youth now are not engaged. If jobs are created, you say that they will not be available to be used by those using them.
What would you say to people who feel it's difficult to do this, considering the economic challenges we're facing?
Well, we'll prioritize, and then the private sector should also key into government policies and create jobs. For now, Nigeria is seen as only the government does everything. Even the private sector, only a few of them are really engaged in job creation. I think they should support the government in terms of job creation. That's the private sector now.
All right, and we'll take that support to our people in terms of having you join us and make your contribution shortly. That after we take a break. Don't go away. Politics Nationwide returns soon.
Politics Nationwide will be back shortly.
Let's have some peace.
Nigerians are peace-loving and hard-working people.
And countries only develop and grow when there is peace and stability.
There are different kinds of problems in every society, and so in every country.
If there are problems here, Nigeria is not an exception.
There is no society, no country where violence and public disorder has solved that problem.
No matter the problem, no matter the issue.
Let us sit down like brothers and sisters. Use dialogue to resolve the problems.
Remember, you have to give account of every action you take, if not here on earth, then before your creator.
Please let us work together
for a peaceful Nigeria.
Let us work together. Nigeria will be great.
Stay with the movers and shakers of politics in the country.
Talking about moving and shaking, you'll agree with me, it's good for us to work together and make Nigeria great. Time for you to join us and play your part in making contributions. We are on Politics Nationwide, particularly looking at issues concerning the Niger Delta. Our guest, Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta and Coordinator, Presidential Amnesty Program, retired Brigadier General Paul Boroh. And you can join us now. The numbers to call 08180758276. We also have 08122071095. Don't forget the rules. No foul, abusive language, no incisive statements, no allegations, no counter allegations, and no self-promotion at all. Don't forget our social media platform is also there, and you have 60 seconds to make your contributions when you get through. Adonogu is our first caller. Adonogu, thanks for joining us. All right, that dropped. Nsute is also trying to get through. Don't forget you need to reduce the volume of your radio sets to avoid what's called interference. Thanks for joining us. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. My name is Bolanle.
You're welcome. Please go ahead with your contribution. Where are you calling from, Bolanle?
I'm calling from Ibadan.
Okay, go ahead with your contribution. 60 seconds, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just want to say the issue of Niger Delta.
Hello?
It's not about just staying in Abuja. People have to go down to Niger Delta and see the level of degradation in that area.
Okay, so Bolanle, what is the way forward? We're looking at the way forward. What's the way forward from your perspective?
Believe the government should be more particular about creating social amenities for them in this area.
All right, creating social
really
amenities.
go a long way to help the situation of things in that area.
Thank you very much, Bolanle. We appreciate you for that one. Let's take the next one. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello.
I'm calling from Bayelsa.
You're welcome. What's your name? Hello?
My name is Peter Azi.
Peter Azi from Bayelsa. Go ahead.
Okay. See, the amnesty program, at least let me tell the Honorable Paul Boroh there that the amnesty program is not successful in Niger Delta now.
What is the way forward? What's the way forward, Peter Azi?
All right. Okay, let me tell you. The way forward now is, now these ex-agitators who have gone training, understand, they have to receive something from the government. All the listing in their document, which they said every training, after their training, they have to give them something, at least to stabilize their life. So, at least after all this now, some people go under training, schooling, everything. Now, let me tell Paul Boroh that let him go to the document. Now, the first phase has finished, the second phase. Now, in the third phase now, let him visit the third phase. And at least engage this youth.
All right.
Engage this youth.
Thank you.
And let me tell
Thank you. Because of time, we have other people on the line. Let's try to help. 60 seconds, like we said. Leonard from Kubwa. Leonard, thanks for joining us. Leonard, are you there? Well, that's dropped. Ovuna Dickland from Ebonyi State. Ovuna Dickland, are you there? Ovuna, yes, Ovuna, go ahead.
My brother, we are looking for a way out. The way out is that I'm calling on federal government to make sure that they have a roundtable discussion with the youth of Niger Delta and equally give them reorientation concerning what they are doing. I believe if you get to their own side, they will tell you that they are right of what they are doing. But they need to be orientated, telling them that all these pipelines they are blowing up, if our oil is no more inactive, I don't think that our country with the... Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Hello? Oh, well, that dropped. Okay, Godwin Achi from Otukpo in Benue State. Godwin, thanks for joining us.
Good morning, my brother.
Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you. This is actually from Otukpo in Benue State, as you said.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
I want to make a contribution in this way. My regards to the special guest in the studio there, Special Advisor of the President of Niger Delta. So I want to say that the people that represent Niger Delta, if any money that comes into their account, the money should be channeled into their own usage so that we can stop the evangelization of our oil installation. Because some of these things that we are having today, if you look at it, the food is the one that is sustaining Nigeria these days. So they should stop our oil resources. Then what they're supposed to do is to use the money that is going into the representative here. They should use the money to develop Niger Delta.
All right.
So
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Godwin Achi. Let's take the next one. Thanks for joining us. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yes, my name is Chidi Chinoye. I'm calling from Yenagua.
Chidi Chinoye from Yenagua. Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to say that the only way out is a massive development of this Niger Delta area. And I want to remind the Avengers, the pipeline they are blowing up and the oil spillages are also destroying their areas. The earth agitators who have been empowered the other time are just only enriching few people. You will see that the earth agitators previously have been empowered. And the onslaught still continues, and that's the solution. That method they are using is just empowering very few people. Look at the Niger Delta is not developed. So the best thing they can do is to develop this area massively so that there will be job creation. That's the only way we can put an end to it.
Thank you.
But to talk to few persons and empower them will not be a solution.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Judu Bwaja from Imo State. Chief Judu Bwaja, please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning to you.
My name is Judu Bwaja. I come from Niger in Imo State. Yeah, the success of the presidential amnesty and the effective implementation of development programs in the Niger Delta are signing a norm that will eventually ensure a lasting peace in the country. Because the country cannot afford any other threat to peace. After devastation from the Boko Haram insurgents, no sacrifice will be too great to prevent and stop further actions of the Niger Delta Avengers.
Thank you.
I commend the Boroh Association for undertaking the cleaning of the land, which is the first of its kind in the country, and urge it to do more, together with extending same to other Niger Delta states.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's go to Nsute Achi from Benue State. Nsute, you're welcome.
Yes, good morning. This is Mr. Nsute Achi, the young headmaster calling for Dagibiam, Makudi, Benue State.
Go ahead, please.
In fact, it is good to involve youth in data states by converting them and also establishing education like university and let it be free for them and let it be compulsory for youth so that they may shun these vices. They will cooperate with Nigerian government and the Nigerian government also will negotiate with them with giving them some allowances and free school fees so that they will stop these vices.
Thank you.
So that we can move ahead.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you very much. We go to the social media now. Dr. Mao Lebara sent this one in. Says the goose that lays the golden egg should not be allowed to die of hunger. Life in Niger Delta is not going very well, she says. Stepping down military operation was the best decision, as crushing and destroying them will do no harm. Let's dialogue and negotiate. Begin now to better their lives. Thank you, Dr. Mao Lebara. This one from Henry Rabuchi, sent this from Idato South. Says, good morning. He says the renewed militancy and attacks on oil pipelines in the Niger Delta is greatly affecting our economy. Therefore, advise those in charge of the Niger Delta development to shun party politics and genuinely look into the plights of the Niger Deltans to provide lasting solutions. He commends the president for the step he has taken so far, cleaning up the Ogoni land, which was abandoned previously for over 30 years, he says. He says he should not relent in carrying out the project, calls on aggrieved groups in the area to sheath their sword and go into dialogue with the government to iron out their grievances. Thank you for that one too. The next one from Monday Ame, sent that in from Abuja, says, I urge federal government to retool and repackage the amnesty program, meet the yearnings of the Niger Deltans and the militants, particularly those who have undergone one form of training in the country or abroad should be given automatic employment. Continuous sensitization of the program on amnesty program should be intensified. Presidential Amnesty Office. Finally, he calls on the Niger Delta Avengers to sheath their sword and come to a round table and discuss with the government instead of blowing up oil platforms, which he says will contaminate the environment. Thank you very much, Monday. That's the much we'll take. We'll come back to our guest right now. Okay, let's take this final one now. It says, good morning, talk by our guest. I want to commend the present administration for its transparency in negotiating with the Niger Delta Avengers. I want to suggest that federal government should take proactive measures to ensure that jobs are created so that the most of these idle boys will be absorbed to the workforce. And it says, idle man becomes the devil's workshop, which in Arinze students in Unizik send that one in. Thank you very much for your comments. Let's come to our guest now. Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta, Coordinator of Presidential Amnesty Program, retired Brigadier General Paul Boroh. You've heard a lot and a lot of suggestions coming in. What's your thoughts? Especially, I'd like to touch on the one from the young headmaster, free university education in the Niger Delta. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, anything that has to do with capacity building and development should be encouraged because in present-day digitalization and globalization, people need to be educated. So I encourage development of human capacity anytime, anywhere.
All right. By encouraging, are you saying it's a possibility to have people go to university free of charge, especially in that area?
In the general area of Niger Delta, it's good to develop the capacity of persons from there because it's the area is highly underdeveloped. So when persons' capacities are developed in different scales, it's highly encouraged.
All right. Now, Peter Azzi talked about giving them something. I wonder what he meant by giving them something. But he kept saying, give them something. What something will be given to these agitators to stop the agitation, General?
To my understanding, there's something that he means is maybe giving them some starter packs like monies and stuff. But I think it's not only the giving of money that really do matter. It's developing the capacity of persons from Niger Delta and people in terms of skills acquisition and educational development. I think it's better to develop somebody than to give cash, which within a short time is finished and then the person starts looking for cash again. Develop the capacity of this human being and then he can transform his life positively.
All right. Maybe finally in that regard, Godwin actually talked about money channeled to the right persons. I also mentioned that earlier. What's your thoughts and what would you like to say about that to ensure that if monies are assigned for certain things in the Niger Delta, including the cleanup, for instance, it doesn't go to some private pockets?
I really agree to you. I agree with you too about that. Appropriations is the key word now. If money is generated for particular purposes, it's better it's expended for this purpose and not to the wrong hands. It achieves greater and faster development if done in this manner.
What will your office do, General, to ensure that this is done?
What my office do is what we're doing now in terms of keying to the TSA system, the Treasury single account system. It's a system that is very revealing and it's accountable system too. You can easily trace how funds are generated and how funds are expended. So I came to that.
All right. Well, thank you very much indeed. Special Advisor to the President of Niger Delta, Coordinator Presidential Amnesty Program, retired Brigadier General Paul Boroh. Thanks for coming on Politics Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Tokwe.
And many thanks to you, those who were able to get through on the calls, and some people still trying right now. We apologize, we can't take more calls, but thank you for participating. Those who sent SMS and some we couldn't quite take, thank you very much for your time. Thursday, we'll be here again for the program Politics Nationwide. Christian Kelly is the engineer on duty. Salah Mohammed is the studio manager. Many thanks to the crew. The ICT involves Chinwe Okorafor and Adiola Benson. And many thanks to the production team made up of Sani, Sulaiman, Mohammed, Bello, Benga Onoiga, Salem Akindele Rock, Dan Ede, Bosse Ijelekai, and Martha Eche. Assistants in production today, we have Emmanuel Ejim, Ibrahim Shaibu, Marvelous Igwe, and Chiamaka Isiobu. My name is Tokwe Ojeme. Let's do what we can. Nigeria must and will be great. Bye for now.